Okay, so let's start today's session on current affairs. And today's first article in current affairs is RBI releasing concept note on central bank digital currency. So, as we know, CBDC or central bank digital currency is a legal tender issued by central bank in digital form. It would be referred as e-rupee. Now, before going on further, there are two important concepts over here. First, legal tender, and second, CBDC. Uh, Anmol, your mic is on. So can you please mute it?
Yes, sir.
Ah, thank you. Okay. So we have two important concepts here. First is legal tender and second is CBDC. So can anyone explain me what is legal tender? Cool. So legal tender, the word itself is made of two words, which is legal plus tender. So what is tender? Tender is basically payment. In short, it is payment against any service. You must have heard commonly the use of tender when some company is trying to provide some service and they'll be calling tenders, right? So here tender basically means providing a service first, and there is generally an offer related to it. Second is legal. Legal means that it is valid all across, in this context, India. The example of legal tender is generally your rupee notes. So a 2000 rupee note, the paper value of 2000 rupee note may not be more than 10 to 50 rupee. However, the sign of RBI, I'm sorry, RBI director, as well as the legal backing to it through various acts, provide this legal tender or your 2000 rupee notes the value of 2000 rupee. And then the second concept over here is CBDC. What is CBDC? So we saw an influx of number of bitcoins when came the boom of blockchain. And with this boom of blockchain, we observed how the whole ecosystem, which was relying on primary market, shifted onto a secondary market, which was primarily driven by Bitcoin. So then central government, first of all, banned this particular market or Bitcoins and then announced the launch of CBDC in its 2022 union budget. What are the features included in this CBDC? So it is same as sovereign currency and is exchangeable, convertible, one-to-one at par with fiat currency. So if you have 2000 rupee and you want a e-rupee of 2000 rupee, it can be changed at one-to-one. Then it appears as a liability on the Reserve Bank of India balance sheet. Must be accepted as a medium of payment, and because it's legal tender, obviously this particular requirement becomes valid, and a safe store of value by all citizens, enterprises, and government agency. That is, if someone wants to store 200 rupees or 2000 rupees, he may store in the form of e-rupee. Fungible legal tender for which holders need not have bank account. That can be structured as token based, that is an instrument like banknotes, or account based system that involves maintenance of record of balance and transaction of all holders of CBDC. So right now, the board system, we can see its presence in some way or another. The first token based is your simple banknote exchange, while your account based system can be referred to or can be compared to your UPI, right? Now, what will be the benefits of e-rupee? So there would be a reduction in operational costs involved in physical cash management, bringing resilience, efficiency, and innovation. Offline features in CBDC would also be beneficial in remote locations, bolster digitization, and to achieve a less cash economy and support financial inclusion. So this was all about CBDC and the concept note released on CBDC by RBI. Okay. Now let's move on to the second article, which is about DBIT notifying establishment of Credit Guarantee Scheme for Startups, or CGSS. So it aims to provide credit guarantee to loans extended by scheduled commercial bank, non-banking financial companies, and Security and Exchange Board of India registered AIFs to finance eligible startups. It was envisaged under Startup India Action Plan launched in 2016. Credit guarantee cover would be transaction-based and umbrella-based. In respect of transaction-based guarantee cover, the guarantee cover is obtained by the lending institutions on single eligible borrower basis, while umbrella-based guarantee cover will provide guarantee to venture debt funds registered under AIF regulations of SEBI. The scheme will be operational by National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company Limited. It will complement the existing schemes such as Startup India Initiative via Fund of Fund for Startups and Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. Other programs under Startup India, so we have support for intellectual property protection, self-certification under labor and environmental laws, income tax exemption for 3 years for new startup, and then Startup India Hub. What is the status of startup ecosystem in India? So presently, with more than 75,000 startup recognized, India has third largest ecosystem for startups in India. US is the leader, then comes China, and then comes India. So far, 7.46 lakh jobs have been created by Indian startup ecosystem. Now, related terms, so venture debt is a type of loan offered by banks and non-bank lenders that is designed specifically for early stage high growth companies with venture capital banking. And AIFs are privately pooled instrument vehicles for investing in non-traditional asset classes. So this was all about a new scheme which is called Credit Guarantee Scheme for Startups. Not much in it. There were some key terms that need to be remembered in order to understand this particular credit guarantee scheme. Okay. Moving on, we have FAO, which launched report titled Mainstreaming Biodiversity in Forestry. So mainstreaming biodiversity is the process of embedding biodiversity considerations into policy, strategies, and practices of key public and private actors to promote the conservation and sustainable use of natural resources. Barriers and threats to biodiversity mainstreaming: deforestation. It is assumed that the highest rate of carbon dioxide emissions after agriculture and allied activities. Remember, the first is agriculture and allied activities. The second is deforestation. That is, man-made causes is the leading reason of carbon dioxide emissions, or what we can now call as climate change. Then we have another barrier, which is illegal forest activities. We also, Pushpa, how the local good woods are traded, and due to which biodiversity is in threat always. Then we have low profile of conservation outside protected areas. So in India, the practice is with state governments to announce any area as national park or tiger reserve or such, right? And after they have announced that particular area, there is no other initiative which is taking care of biodiversity out of such protected areas. Then we have sufficient capacity. So developing countries struggle to enforce forest and biodiversity regulations. First, we don't have those policy tools which converge in maintaining biodiversity. Neither we have capacity building programs, right? And then we have lack of indigenous people and local community participation. What are the key recommendations by FAO? So it is to recognize the forest tenure of indigenous people and local communities, which India has sort of done through Forest Dwellers Act 2006, with emphasis on enhancing the equitable sharing of benefits. Then preventing the conversion of natural forest into monospecific forest plantation. The example of this is Brazil. That in Brazil presently they are trying to burn Amazon, and then they are trying to either make it a grassland or a monospecific forest plantation. So such practices need to be abandoned. Ensuring the sustainable management of harvested species to control harvesting of plants and wildlife, adopting a multi-sectoral perspective, then providing economic incentives like compensation for reduced production to promote biodiversity benefits, and facilitating market-based instruments like engaging in PPP. Right. So one of the example is corporate social responsibility commitments in India. Okay. So this was all about FAO and mainstreaming biodiversity forestry. Now, the next article is about Bombay Stock Exchange getting the SEBI note for social stock exchange. So SSE is an important initiative that was announced as early as in 2019 by Minister of Finance in budget speech. It is a platform where investor would be allowed to buy shares in a social enterprise that has been vetted by an official exchange. And these enterprises would be called social enterprises when they would be non-loss, non-dividend paying companies established to address social problems. So one of the example could be your Pratham NGO. Moving on, benefits of social stock exchange. So it enables PPP in social causes through equity route, provides additional capital to improve the lives of the underserved, leverage private sector participation, thus complementing government efforts, will bring together social enterprises and impact investors on a common platform. SSE can also enable fundraising as well as information on operations and management about a social enterprise, right? Due to the requirement of standardized reporting. Now here, remember the private sector participation complementing government efforts. So it appears it would be SDG 13 or 14, 15. However, it is SDG 17, where various institutions are coming to realize a sustainable goal. So collectively, you can write 13, 15, and 17. Now, earlier in July 2022, SEBI notified rules for social stock exchange to provide social enterprises with an additional avenue to raise funds. Under this, social enterprises eligible to participate in SSE will be non-profit organization and for-profit social enterprises, having social intent impact as their primary goal. And the social activities which these organizations would be targeting varies from eradicating hunger, empowerment of women, LGBTQI plus communities empowerment. It could be about education, etc. Here we have a diagrammatic representation of SSE. So there would be retail investor who want to invest funds, but now they have a noble cause to invest. Then we have social enterprises which need capital funding for their projects. Then we have voluntary organization also who wants to get listed on such organization after standardized reporting in order to get preferable security type, which is equity. And then there would be issuance and trading of securities to institutional investors. So like simply stock market. So this was all about BSE finally getting the nod for SSE. Moving on, we have Cheetah Task Force constituted. So Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has constituted a task force into monitoring cheetah introduction in Kuno National Park, Madhya Pradesh, and other suitable designated areas. So we all saw the particular image of 5 female and 3 male cheetahs coming from Namibia to Madhya Pradesh, Kuno National Park. What is the mandate of task force? To review progress and monitor the health status of cheetah. That is, have there been a successful integration of cheetah? Monitor hunting skills and adaptation of cheetahs. Regularly interact with cheetah mitras and local communities for raising awareness. Also, NTCA would facilitate the working of cheetah task force and render all necessary help. NTCA is a statutory body under the Ministry of Environment, Forest, and constituted under enabling provisions of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Remember, NTSC does not designate a tiger reserve. It is involved in the process of designating area as tiger reserve, but NTSA directly does not designate one. Remember this particular statement due to designation of fourth tiger reserve in Bihar. Now let's come back to significance of cheetah restoration. So it will help to stem the degradation and rapid loss of biodiversity. Bringing back a top predator restores historic evolutionary balance, resulting in cascading effects on various levels of ecosystem, and will save not only its prey base, but also which compromise certain threatened species, but also other endangered species of the grasslands, open forest ecosystems, etc. Right. So this was all about cheetah task force. Cool. Then we have final article, which is about packs of primary agricultural credit societies to be set up in all panchayats of country. So during inauguration of Eastern and Northeastern Cooperative Dairy Conclave 2022, Union Minister said that packs will be set up in all panchayats of the country. Currently, there are only 65,000 active packs in the country. What are packs? So they are cooperative societies which provide the following facilities to their members, including input facilities, agriculture implements on hiring basis, and storage facility. They constitute the lowest tier of three-tier short-term cooperative credit in the country and comprise around 13 crore farmers as its member. In this short-term cooperative credit, we have packs, the lowest tier. Above it, we have your district central cooperative banks, and then we have state cooperative banks at state level. Packs are outside the purview of Banking Regulation Act 1949 and hence not regulated by Reserve Bank of India. So probably the only bank which is not regulated by Reserve Bank of India in India. Now it accounts for 41% of Kisan credit card loans given by all entities in the country, and 95% of these Kisan credit loans through packs are to the small and marginal farmers, which are around 86% of total farming population. Earlier cabinet committee had also approved the computerization of packs with the objective of increasing efficiency of packs, bringing transparency and accountability in their operations. So because there have been allegations of packs being ruined by communalism or casteism, so now cabinet committee has also asked these packs to get digitized, right? So this was all about the mains articles. Now let's quickly move on to the Prelims section. Commission appointed to study scheduled caste status of Dalits post conversion. So a committee headed by Balakrishna has been constituted by Center in order to study that the people who have converted from religions to other than Sikhism or Buddhism, whether the SC status should be accorded them or not, right? The commission will examine the matter in line with presidential orders issued from time to time under Article 341, which gives the power to president to define who are SCs. And currently, the Constitution's Scheduled Caste Order 1950 provides for only three religions, that is Hindu, Sikh, and Buddhist communities, to have scheduled caste accorded to them. Next, we have Nobel Peace Prize. So a Norway Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2022. First is to Bialinsky from Belarus. We have Russian Human Rights Organization Memorial, and then we have Ukrainian Human Rights Organization Central for Civil Liberties. So they were awarded for their consistent efforts in favor of humanist values, anti-militarism, and principles of law. And NPP is awarded by a committee elected by Norwegian Parliament. Then we have Sabka Vishwas Legacy Dispute Resolution Scheme 2019. So there were two schemes launched. First was to address the direct tax issue. The other was to address indirect tax issue. Here, this particular scheme, Sabka Vishwas Legacy Dispute Resolution, is about those indirect tax issues. So following an order by Madhya Pradesh High Court, Central Board of Indirect Tax and Custom has said that interest arising out of delayed payment of tax dues can be waived off under legacy scheme. It was a one-time measure for liquidation of past disputes of central excise and service tax. And the scheme was intended to provide an opportunity for voluntary disclosure to non-compliant taxpayers. Then we have rubber board. So it was introduced. It introduced the updated version of MRU, the electronic market for rubber, which went live for trading in July 2022. About rubber boards, it's a statutory organization under Rubber Act 1947. It's under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, responsible for development of rubber industry, headed by chairman appointed by central government, and has 28 members representing various interests of natural rubber industry, and headquarters at Kottayam, Kerala, because Karnataka and Kerala leads in the production as well as the trade of rubber. Then we have Thalassotitan atrox. So a study found the existence of mosasaur Thalassotitan atrox around 66 million years ago. They were huge marine lizards that lived at the same time as last dinosaurs, and they evolved to fix the marine apex predator niche, a niche occupied by orcas and white sharks today. Then we have cellulose. So according to FAO report, demand for wood products like mass timber and man-made cellulose fiber used as substitutes for non-renewable materials may increase by 2050. Man-made cellulose fiber is regenerated fibers made from dissolved cellulose of trees, and it is a complex carbohydrate polysaccharide consisting of 3000 or more glucose unit. It forms the basic structural component of plant cell walls. So as we know, plant cell has a thick wall, while animal cell does not. So that thick wall is due to cellulose. Property, it's non-toxic, biodegradable, hydrophilic, and biocompatible, naturally biocompatible to human tissue. Then we have Konda Reddy tribe. So they prefer bamboo shoots as their diet to boost immunity. They are backward tribal groups in the state of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. They are classified as PVTG in these states among 75 PVTGs, and they have been inhabiting in the forest and hill ranges and are entitled to collect every form of bamboo tree, which is classified as minor forest produce. For personality, we have Begum Samru. So she was a Muslim who converted to Catholicism, and came to be popularly known as the only Catholic queen of India. Her birth name was Farzana, and she spent her early years as dancing girl in Delhi. After marrying an Austrian mercenary who got Jagir of Sardhana in present-day Meerut district, she began to play an essential role in managing Sardhana and its land revenue dealings. From her support to Mughal Empire, she was bestowed the title Zeb-un-Nisa by Emperor Shah Alam and honored with a khilat or ceremonial robe. Finally, we have this is in news. So India is in talks with Angola and Algeria to procure LNG or liquefied natural gas on long-term contracts. About Angola, so the national capital is Luanda. Located on the western coast of southern Africa, bordered by Atlantic Ocean in west. Neighboring countries, Democratic Republic of Congo, Namibia, and Zambia. The highest mountain peak is Morro de Moco of around 2600 meters. Natural resources, metal resources include iron ore, copper, gold, bauxite, and commercial deposit of petroleum, diamonds, phosphate, feldspar, and uranium. Then we have Algeria. So the national capital is Algiers. It is situated in North Africa. The Sahara Desert and its extreme climate dominate the country. It is bounded to the east by Tunisia and Libya, to the south by Niger and Mali, and Mauritania, and to the west by Morocco and Western Sahara, and to the north by Mediterranean Sea. The northernmost region is known as Tell, largely comprising the Atlas Mountains, and southern region is desert. Mountain Tahat is the highest peak in the country. This region has become also important because recently Google launched their fiber cable along the coast of Africa, which connects Portugal, Algeria, Morocco. Then we have Namibia, and finally South Africa, or the Cape of Good Hope at South Africa. So these are 4 places. through which Google have connected in order to provide better net or better internet speed in African region. So this was all about today's current affairs. Is there any doubt or any particular suggestion that anyone wants to add?